Oh boy, okay, so I did watch the Nintendo Direct, and after all that, I kind of wanted to just let it all simmer, let the whole controversy simmer a little bit, and just get my thoughts, just to really gather my thoughts and have a better explanation, personally, as to why I feel the way I do. Honestly, I watched the Direct, and I was really happy about it, you know? I was really surprised at some of the games that came out. Obviously, there was Donkey Kong World? I don't really remember, it's been a little while, but yeah, I'm excited for that game. From Software's, Dark Souls Bloodborne-like game that's exclusive to Nintendo, that's a huge one. That's really interesting too, and I thought that was really cool. And then there was, of course, Mario Kart. Those are all, in my opinion, highlights. And then you just have like a bunch of games that's going to be coming out on the console for the next generation of the Switch. Throughout the whole Nintendo Direct, I was just thinking, where's the price? Where is the price of the console? How much are we going to be paying for it? How much is Nintendo expecting us to pay for this console? And then as the Direct kept going, I think it was around towards the middle or the end. That is when I thought was the most interesting part, where you had to pay for an upgrade of your games if you want to play, like, I guess the better version of whatever game you previously have purchased for the Switch 1 onto the Switch 2, like The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. Those games you have to pay a little bit more, like an upgrade fee, in order to get like dedicated graphics and more content, I guess, for the game. And I'm like, okay, well, how much does it cost? It didn't say anything, like nothing at all with the price. It feels like the whole Nintendo Direct, as good as it was in terms of showcasing of what they have and what they want to show via the console and the games, they did everything they can to not talk about the price. And I'm like, you want us to buy the console? How much is this gonna cost? No mention of the price. I think they've only said if you want to know what the prices are for our console and everything else, take a look on the website. So yeah, I did take a look at the website, and there have been other news articles and sources and just people saying that this console is gonna cost $450. Why? I mean, I guess they're trying to justify the extra 50 for like all the gimmicks that the Nintendo Switch 2 has. For instance, like the Temu-like Discord that they have with the very choppy frame rates of like watching your friends, play whatever Nintendo game that they're playing. And I'm like, yeah, I don't yeah, I don't care about that, because like that's why we have Discord. We have Discord for a reason. It's that exact reason. Now, I could understand that not everybody has this setup where you could put your Switch on like the dock, and then you could like use your capture card and play whatever Switch game you want on your PC via capture card, and you just have like your friends on Discord and you could just hang out with each other. I get it, not everybody has that kind of setup, but like if you're gonna make like a Discord for a Nintendo, do it well, and you don't have to include like all the unnecessary garbage that's part of it. I don't know, man. Like, I feel like Nintendo isn't fully there with their online capabilities, with their online functionality. It's just not there. And the stupid camera that you have to plop down next to your Switch so that way people could watch you. It's so stupid. I'm sorry, but like, that's gonna be costing extra, and I feel like the extra $50 on top of the $400 for the Switch, and the Switch alone is $450, but I feel like the extra 50 is just, you're paying for all the stupid gimmicks, like I said, the Discord, the camera, the online, which is not even free, by the way. I'm pretty sure that's gonna go up in price. And what else? The mouse as well. Well, how like you could use the Joy-Cons as a mouse. I'm sure some people have speculated that the Switch 2 with the mouse functionality, you could treat it as like you're playing a PC, like you're playing PC games. I don't think so. It's just another silly little gimmick that Nintendo likes to shoehorn into their products. Remember Labo for the Switch? Not very many people played it. If anything, it was like a one-time thing. Like, ooh, this is fun, you get to go fishing, all of a sudden you're like, yeah, I'm bored, I don't care. Just gonna put it up on eBay and hopefully maybe somebody buys it for like the cheap cardboard and or maybe throw it away. I don't know. It's just, the Switch 2 is just very gimmicky as well. Even more gimmicky than the Switch 1. No, it's not good. So I feel like the price could have been fair. I would have been okay with it if it was just $400 because for most consoles, every time, for most companies like, you know, Microsoft and Sony, when they come out with a new console, I do expect a price hike of $100. It's been embedded in me to, you know, get used to that, right? So I am already used to that. I get it, you know? You're packing in more technology, you're making the product beefier in terms of like what it could do performance-wise, and the Switch is very good at that right now. The Switch 2, it is actually very promising in terms of performance and graphics and all that. And, you know, it's literally just the Switch 2. It's the same thing as the Switch 1, but it looks modern, it looks, you know, more matured. Yeah, it's not worth $450. I'm okay with 400, but no, not 450. I mean, if it was 350, oh my god, that's like a pretty good deal. Yeah, no, they're really pushing it. They're really pushing it with 450. After, you know, taking a look at how much the console costs, then we get to the video games. Then we get to the games that Nintendo is expecting us as the consumer, as Nintendo fans to buy. And these games have jumped up $10 to $20. You gotta spend for Mario Kart 8, not Mario Kart 8, you have to spend for Mario Kart World $80. You have to pay $80 for Mario Kart World, and I believe that's digitally, and I think for cartridge, which you're not still fully owning the full game, because the way they do cartridges is very like ass now. It's all like pseudo digital. I don't know what they're doing. It's so weird. It's so weird, but that's $90 for paying for like this piece of plastic and a plastic cover that I'm sure could be made for like $1 or a couple cents, you know, or $2 at most. I don't know. Like, it's very cheap when it comes to plastics and making plastic. Nintendo is simply just jacking up the price because they believe that now is the time, because of inflation, people need to pay more for their games. And the scary thing about all this is that it is a trend-setting thing that could happen, a trend-setting market that could happen, and it's going to impact other people in the video game industry. So like, yeah, it's just not good. So overall, I feel like the game prices are just incredibly overshadowing like all that is wrong with the Switch and the overpricing of the Switch, while people are still mad about it. It's even amazing to me how like the increase of prices literally broke much of the gaming space, much of the gaming fanboys, you know? It's really hard to justify everything that Nintendo is doing right now. So in one hand, I could understand why Nintendo decided to increase the price. And they did say on, I think it was Doug Bowser who did say that, well, he said a lot of nothing, really, but all he said was, my fifis believe that you pay more, that's all. I heard a lot of, I feel, and that's all he said. I feel like our games are priced accordingly and blah, blah, blah.
But if you buy the game itself, this got a lot of attention. I don't know if you've seen. $80, that's a lot for a game. I know it's typically not what Nintendo charges. And then we look at the Donkey Kong game that's coming out about a month later, it's $70. Can you talk a little bit about how the gaming pricing strategy is $80 kind of the benchmark for a AAA game from Nintendo? What should we be expecting in the Switch 2 generation as far as how much we're going to be spending on these games?
Yeah, I would say that we're not really looking to establish a benchmark for pricing. We look at every game and every experience and determine what we believe is the right price point based on that experience. You've had a chance to play Mario Kart World and see how deeply immersive it is and how fun it is. And we haven't shown everything yet. We still have a Mario Kart World Direct that'll be coming that'll show even the deeper feature set. So we believe based on the depth and breadth of the play and the repeatability of the play over time, the pricing that we announced is the right pricing. But again, other games like you mentioned, Donkey Kong Bonanza, it's going to be at a $70 price point because that is what we feel is the right price point for that particular gaming experience.
In one way, I could get it. $60 games have been a thing for so long that sure, maybe one could argue it is time for consumers to pay more. That is to adjust for inflation, right? So of course, people would be paying a lot more, but instead they dropped it down to $70 and $80 games, and in some cases $90. But if you really think about it, and if you want to be practical about this too, wages have not kept up, like at all. So if you're going to be increasing your prices to increase your profit margins, you're not going to really be getting a lot of people buying your product strictly because they simply cannot afford it, and they even believe that it's too expensive. Even though some could afford it, it's not worth paying that much, especially because wages have not kept up with inflation. That they believe that people are making enough to buy more, purchase, to spend more for their games. There we go. And that simply isn't true. So what's gonna happen is they're just spitting on the faces of their consumers. You know, they're saying we're gonna jack up the price, even though you're suffering down here because you're not, you know, earning enough money. You're living paycheck to paycheck. We don't care. We still want your money and we want more of it. Give us more. Fucking greedy bastards, man. And that is the scary thing, because if they're gonna be increasing their prices on these games, it's gonna be setting the norm for other companies to do the same. And I've heard this so many times, and it very much is true. Nowadays, you're looking at games that are gonna be costing $70, close to $60. And some are speculating that this could usher in a new golden era for indie games. Because like, for example, I've been playing a lot of Scheduled 1, and that game is really fun. And I only paid like a fraction of the cost of what Nintendo was asking for. And if, let's say, the developer were to come out with like another game, I would gladly pay for it for the right price. And that developer is getting a lot more money than what Nintendo could possibly get, in my opinion. I could be totally wrong of this, but like, if you're gonna like have your game be played by the masses, and if it's a great game, and if it's fun, and if it's affordable, you're gonna be the next big thing. Nintendo, not so much. If anything, more people are just gonna like stop playing Nintendo games. And it's gonna be difficult, it's gonna be hard, it's gonna be soul crushing, but the price hike is just not worth it, especially on principle. Because, you know, let's say I could afford these games, right? I could afford like an $80 to $90 game, and I could buy it, you know, no problem. Even though I really can't, because, you know, even though I can't because I'm poor, but let's say I could afford it. I want more people, more fans to play with, to hang out with, to talk about these games with. But instead, I'm only gonna be alone. You know, I'm gonna be a king in a lonely kingdom with nobody, you know, by my side. And that's a very lonely thing, you know? I'd rather have more people to play with a certain game or certain games, and then to just enjoy like a premium, expensive luxury game and just be alone in it. And I like my solitude, believe me. I like being alone for some of the time, but not all the time. You know, I want to talk about, you know, these games with other people, but that's just not gonna happen. Games are... The way Nintendo are pricing their games are way too expensive. Nintendo has become so greedy to the point where it's kind of making me feel guilty being like a Nintendo fan. And especially when it comes to the cartridges and all that, you know, you are, or for most things in our lifetime right now, especially when it comes to video games, you are not... They're moving more and more away from digital, right? And they're even doing this whole stupid cartridge, digital cartridge thing. It's becoming very much apparent to the point where you're not really owning your games anymore. What you're actually doing is you're paying like a $90 license to play this game for a limited amount of time. You're literally just purchasing a license. You're not purchasing a copy of a game to use and play with and do whatever you like to, so long as you're not like redistributing it. You're not owning these games anymore. So these franchises, these IPs that you love, it's all gonna be gone. You're not gonna be really fully embedded in it. It's only gonna be shown to you and then taken away. So you don't have... Yeah, so just the pricing, just the way that everything is becoming more and more expensive has just been really disappointing. It's been really, you know, upsetting. And there are so many other content creators, YouTubers, Nintendo content creators, just Nintendo fanboys as well, just, and fangirls and MBs. We're all voicing our opinions, right? And we're all saying how this is bad. It's not good. It's really disgusting too, in a greedy sense, in a greedy level. Like, the greed is so high, I just don't want to associate with Nintendo anymore in terms of like, you know, doing business with them. as in buying their games. But yeah, there's a lot of other content creators out there that are really into Nintendo that, you know, could even explain everything that's been going on way better than I can. I just want to voice my opinion, but there is something very crucial that I do want to say, and that's boycotting Nintendo. All the gamers out there, you yourself included, if you're watching this video and you're not happy about the way Nintendo is heading in this very greedy direction, you need to not only voice your opinion. All it comes down to, really, it just comes down to not spending. Just don't spend on Nintendo. Do not purchase this product. Do not purchase the Switch 2. Do not, you know, give your money to this company, this very greedy company. Do not purchase their games, you know? I get that you're hyped for whatever game you want to play that is coming out. I get that you're hyped for the next Switch, but even if I could afford it, I would feel rather disgusted with myself if I were to be the one contributing to how expensive these games are and this price point is for the Switch too. I don't want to be part of that. So I would just recommend, you know, don't buy it. Don't buy the Switch 2. Don't buy any Nintendo games, especially when it comes to new games that are coming out. Because if you really want to get Nintendo's attention, you have to... This is gonna sound weird, but you're gonna have to voice your opinion with your dollars. Vote with your dollars. You know, make a statement with your money. And it's simple, can be hard. Don't purchase. Don't buy it. Just don't. I mean, I'm not, even if I can't afford it anyways. So yeah, I really do not recommend buying the Switch 2. You know, their sales have to really take a massive hit for like a good amount of time for them to just cave in and be like, okay, we'll drop the price. You guys were right. Keep in mind, Nintendo is a very greedy company to the point where they will not buckle until their investors start screaming at them. And the higher ups of Nintendo start sweating and panicking and going, oh, we need to cave, or else we're not going to be making our, you know, every 3-month quota, or we're not going to be making certain level of money at the end of the quarter. They need to bleed. So yeah, at the end of the day, money matters. It is the blood that runs a multi-billion-dollar company, and it bleeds green. Do not purchase Nintendo products. At least not for now. They need to fully understand that we are not on board with this. So don't do it. I'm not. Anyways, that's pretty much all I have to say. I know my mind could be very rambling at times and I could just like repeat myself, but like, I don't know, man. I'm really disappointed here. And another thing too, this kind of hurts me in a way where I am very excited for like the next Animal Crossing game that could happen, but it hurts because I don't think I'm gonna buy the next Animal Crossing game unless if it's, you know, at a good price. Unless Nintendo decides to lower their prices. This is usually what I do every Nintendo console, except for the Wii U, was, oh, Animal Crossing is coming out, I'm gonna buy the next console. I don't think I'm gonna be doing it this time, and it makes me sad. But I gotta hold the line, and I hope people do. And if you don't, and if you just purchase this console on day one, full price, and you're purchasing these $80 to $90 games, even $70 games, you're gonna be part of the problem. Trust me on this. If you're not happy with price hikes, you know, you already know. But yeah, be sure to like, subscribe. If you like this content, let me know. If you have any opinions, let me know. I'll be happy to read them. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.